this evening's meeting, February 3rd, 2025. There are Title VI forms in the back right corner if you wish to fill one of those out. Tonight, I'd like to ask Don Lowe. You want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing while Terry Canfield from the First Christian Church of God leads us in prayer.
God, we thank you for this day. It's a beautiful day and incredibly a gift from you, and we're grateful for that. I'm thankful for this community that we live in and for the many people who make it special. Tonight, as we have gathered, I pray for our commissioners. I pray as they ponder the various decisions before them that you would give them wisdom and clarity of thought, so that as they make those decisions, our community will become even better. And we thank you for this, and we pray in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, let's get started first. Have you gentlemen had an opportunity to review the minutes from January 21st?
I have. They look good to me.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the executive session minutes on January 27th, 2025. If you guys have an opportunity to review those minutes.
I have, and I would move to approve.
Have in a second. All right, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. All right, claims.
I just noticed several large ticket items in here. What my assumption is they're software renewal. That is assessor's office and recorder's office. Is that correct? And that's just an annual fee?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the, I think, Xsoft, is that one?
Yeah.
One is Exoff, the one with CSI.
Assessor's office, CSI, the recorder system. Yeah, those are the 8.
Okay, that was really the big ticket items I saw, just kind of questioning that.
That was all the questions I have. We cleared that up.
One thing I would note, I'm sure you guys saw them looking through, there are some gas reimbursements in the claims. When the highway department was built, there was a system that was put in that would allow county employees to go and fill up their vehicle at the highway department with like a key fob, a PIN code. I was able to talk with Josh Tressler from IT. They are in the process now. They have everything figured out on the system that they'll be able to start distributing cards. And so for Tim Kramer, other departments that have vehicles, animal shelter, those kinds of things, instead of seeing those claims come in where we're paying at the pump, we have a purchase agreement that's already in place for fuel that will be out of the highway department. There's also a card that could be used for a prior bid price, so that we aren't just paying the regular listed price.
Right.
So just FYI, that process, that system is up and coming online soon.
And through that system, I'm assuming it'll delete from each one of those budgets, like Mindy's or contract.
That it would go out of their budget.
Perfect.
Like it is now. It's just there's not the actual claim coming in like we see where there's some kind of reimbursement. Something.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept or approve the claims that were submitted?
I'll make a motion to approve the plan.
I'll say.
All right. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. All right, looking at payroll for the week of January 31st, 2025. We had a lot of overtime, guessing highway department, health department, storm related there, Todd. Dispatch, I think, had a lot of overtime as well, all from the storm. Excellent. Okay. So the total amount that we had for payroll was $404,509.79.
I make a motion to approve that.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on. Todd Howe, Highway Department. And this evening, I've gotten some information that people that are watching at home have a hard time listening. So if you're going to be talking, if you could just go up to the podium, that's for everybody. I'm going to try and start the policy if I can remember. If not, one of you guys remind me. If you could, just go to the podium and talk as best you can into the microphone so that everybody else can hear you as well.
That way I can get underneath this camera and they see my bald spot. Gentlemen, since we've last met, we're still maintaining some of the maintenance items, sign maintenance, pothole patching, bushwhacking, bridge maintenance, surveying layout. We also I took 11 guys, went to Lawrenceburg on Thursday for pipeline training, gas pipeline. It's an invite they send out to the surrounding counties in this district. So basically, it's all about awareness, that you're not allowed to, if you're taking a piece of heavy equipment across the pipeline, you got to check with that. Grading the road, that pipeline, you got to check with that. And there's just a lot of stipulations with the gas. So we went down for training. We did training last year, but it was at the orchard. I took the whole staff. This time there was 11. There's 11 of us that went down to Lawrenceburg. So we did that. The last meeting I bought you a bid for chemical for the boiler system. I had a second bid that came in, but it was probably $700 more. So I don't think that we need to go with that. I would recommend that we go with Adam for the service. It is I think it's right around $18.75 for the year. We get billed monthly. He comes every month. So I would recommend going with this. So I'll leave that with you guys. I need a signature so I can send that back. At Selking, they offered Shelby County ordered a truck. It came in, it's a single axle. When it came in, the city of Shelbyville, didn't want it. So they offered to the Shelbyville, the county of Shelbyville, county didn't. So they offered it to Decatur County, and I reached out to them because I would like to purchase that. So I wanted to make sure I get a head nod for that. We'll pay for that LRS out of our own budget. The expense isn't that bad. That way I can get into a newer truck. So
Are you replacing a truck?
Yes. Selking,
Are you replacing a truck?
yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
Is it one of the old single
Yeah.
axles that you have?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the year on the one that you're replacing?
I would have to get that.
Is that one of the 90 or 94?
Yeah, I think it's truck number 26. I don't know the exact year of that. I'll probably put that in the auction when Owens has it out here at the fairgrounds. Had pretty good luck with them.
Is that the one that's still a manual transmission?
No, that's truck 30. So we're basically going to replace this for our Durapatcher truck. The current truck we have doesn't have AC in it. They're out there most of the time on 95, 100-degree days, getting out of the truck on the pavement while one guy's in the truck because he's got to basically raise the bed and blow the horn to, there's a car coming this way, guy behind the truck can't see it, so they communicate back and forth with the horn. There's a car coming this way, there's one coming this way. So some guys consider that a crappy job. It's not really a crappy job, but it is. It's a, there's a little knack for it. Straighten the emulsion out, and the stone, and you want to make the surface as transparent as you can instead of putting a big hole up there, or a speed bump per se. So that's our plan that we want to do. So I just need to get ahead from you so I can go ahead and call Selking so I can get things started.
Is this truck gonna be used for plowing or anything
I
else?
would suit it for snow equipment, yes. The
Uh,
cost of the truck is, it's going through the Sourcewell program. It's $106,000, something like that. I've asked them, it's that yellow one up there. I've asked them to paint that either white or red. So the additional cost on that is about $6,000 to have it painted. But if I want to get into a new truck, I don't want to just spray the outside and leave jams yellow. So I'm going to have them just paint the whole truck to match the fleet. We would apply the decals. We would also order the V-bed, the snowplow. We would also be responsible for the bed, the dump bed on the truck. So additional cost on that, I think, is $54,000. So I'm 106, 112, so we about $160-some thousand that I already paying out of my local budget for that.
Is there a cost savings by purchasing this truck versus just ordering one the way you want it?
Yes.
Do you have any idea what that delta is?
Well, as far as that, you would go through the Sourcewell program, and it's still going to be priced relatively to the same. Sourcewell is a program that basically does all the bidding for you, where you don't have to have 3 different trucking companies to bid it. But as far as cost savings, it was cheaper if I just bought it, having 3 other companies bid it. But my big thing, I wanted it to be legal, so I just went through the Sourcewell. It was like $2,000 difference. I know that Tim has been putting together some numbers on some tandems. I told him to give me 2 different setups, okay, so I can bring that for the council. Possibly looking to get those the next 2 or 3 years or something. But if you order a truck today now, it's 2 years before you can get it.
That's what I was trying to make sure of.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to find the advantage of why we pay one versus order one.
Yeah.
But if it's a 2-year lead time, I understand.
Yeah. And then next on here, I've got 2 rollover bid letters, okay, for you to either approve or deny. One is from Premier Ag, and the other one is from Globe Asphalt. That is up to you guys, whether you want to allow them to roll their bid or deny it and rebid.
I'm assuming premiums for fuel,
Yes,
and what's the
Globe is for first and apply, billing and matching. So I would just need to know how I need to proceed with that, whether I need to call Premier and say we're going to bid it, or call Globe and say we're going to bid it, or if we're going to bid both of them.
You and I have had in-depth discussions about these. I'm personally not a fan of rollover bids. I just think that the only advantage of you rolling a bid would be now lower, or, something of that matter. Why not rebid it? So I'm more of a fan of rebidding, but somebody just bidding all of it every year. I reached out, I talked to you about some other contacts I have.
Yeah.
I was not going to get those to you tonight. But I personally am one that I'd rather see it bid every year
Okay,
by all parties.
all right. Well, I can tell you this year is the first year we have not had any trouble. Because we redid the bid stack for the fuel. Tim did a good job putting that together, and we did not have one truck gel up this year from the spec that we had last year. And change of the fuel. But I'm good to do whatever you guys want me to do.
I know when it came to the fuel last year, we had 2 bids. We had Premier and then another one from Evansville.
Yeah, Heritage.
Part of the bid included a requirement. They have a local station.
Yeah.
And the company out of Evansville did not have it. Premier was the that had submitted a bid that had all the qualifications that.
I don't know, and we discussed that a little bit. I don't know that it makes sense to move away from Premier unless they're just higher than everyone else, of course. But I still think we should give the opportunity to bid every year. Maybe still who you're gonna go with, but it just, the concept to me of rollover, I don't think it's a great idea.
Do you recall off the top of your head what the price per gallon was for Premier? Because that's really the deciding factor, kind of where we are for me on the Premier, for how much we're paying for fuel, compared to where we are at pump right now.
And so there's other options we can do, and we've discussed some of this as well, and you're already aware, but I mean, we can, depend upon fuel consumption that we're using too, we can purchase fuel in larger volumes. We would be able to contract and take, if we were able to take a whole truck at once, we would save quite a bit on the purchase. So there's some discussions there. We haven't gotten into that yet as far as fuel consumption and how much it would take.
Yeah.
I know you're 2,000 per.
I was gonna say, what's your storage capacity?
So I think it's 2 off, 2 on, and 1 gas, 2,000 gas.
Yeah, all over 2,000,
So
all
those trucks,
off-road diesel and unleaded.
are compartmentalized in the straight truck, and then as they come in a longer truck, in a semi, then, you have to take a lot, right? But the first trucks are compartmentalized to carry gas on and off.
Right.
So just making sure if there's a way, if you need an extra tank, just to make sure that we're taking a truck.
And there's the potential that we're looking at a higher volume with more county vehicles being able to access the fuel in the highway department going forward.
Yeah, that would be primarily unleaded, I would say.
The market's a little volatile right now, right? So the contracting may not be in the best interest on the fuels. So, most part went down. But there are times where, we see the increases coming. It's nice to be able to contract that at a lower rate, for at least X amount of gallons, 50 to 100,000 gallons, whatever we need,
Okay.
for the year.
I'm good with rebidding instead of roll. Makes sense to me to have a little that competitive to get some, more bids out there. So I'm fine with that.
And to the point, it's the lowest responsible bid, right?
Yes.
So if there's not a local presence in order for them to be able to make sure that we can get fuel on the regular, then that's not a responsible bid. So, Premier probably maintains the business. But it's just so that we're looking at cost at an accurate on the.
All right, do I have a motion then on the rollover bids?
I would make a motion to not allow bids to roll over this year.
Is that all bids or is that just these bids? Okay.
To me, it'd be all bids.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We will not roll over bids.
Okay, I'll reach out and let everybody know, for the most part, they all know the bid's gonna be advertised, I think on 14th February. I'll reach back out to them and make sure everybody's aware.
14th, 7th.
I don't know, it should be minutes. That's, you said you had a list of contacts for that?
I do. So
Okay.
I found several contacts within Milestone, and also Robertson Vaping.
Yes.
They mentioned that, so I ended up getting that contact too. So there's 2 that I can think that send your way.
Yeah, and if you could assist on maybe helping put that rollout,
Absolutely.
okay, I appreciate that. Anything tech savvy, I can appreciate it.
And we reviewed the Adam document for the maintenance as well. So
Yes,
we're able, I would make this motion to approve the Adam chemical.
Yeah, we're going where I was going
I
next.
second that motion.
Yep. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Great, motion carries.
Did you say Adam Chemical?
Yes.
ACOM.
ATO.
Give me 1 second there. Where,
I think that needs to go down to Savannah and then she can make a copy of it for me. I'll even keep that on file.
you need my signature on this. So we have to provide the tax form to them. Just nothing.
I would take acceptance. But, it was yesterday. So the town got to be paid down.
I think these things we should block it all.
Okay.
Keep it going. That as far as-
I'll reach out to Piney. Because I'll be working with Brian Piney and he'll be managing that for me.
Before we go any further, going back to the discussion on the single axle truck itself. Any further discussion on?
Was that something that was on the horizon and you were looking at purchasing, or this just came up and you're like,
It just came up. They approached us about this single axle truck and it's already here. Don't have to wait 2 years.
I guess my question is, do you already have $160,000 in your budget just to purchase that?
No. No, I'll just take it out of a appropriation in LRS. There's enough funds in there.
And I know from talking with Todd and Tim, you can give us some more information, that the fleet is old. And so last year I started discussions with Todd and Tim that we need to start planning on this rotation because it's coming up. What are your oldest trucks?
I think 91.
91, 92, yeah.
And then
My big
For
thing
some of us
is,
still seems new. One that seemed like I long ago.
Well, and Brian came in today and introduced himself to the highway department and kind of got the foremans and Tim and I before that, and then went out and talked to all the guys, and we appreciate that, all of them did. He mentioned something about a CIP plan, which is capital improvement plan. I like that. It's never been in the budget, and I'm just trying to figure this all out. So I think that would be a good approach going forward. What we want to do in 5 years and 6 years, try and make sure we got money. So council or where we take it out of the highway budget, there's enough money in there to accommodate 3 or 4 trucks.
So I know the sheriff has recently gone to Enterprise for their vehicles. And if I remember
We
correctly,
just had a meeting with them. Teresa came over from Parks Department. I've given them the information. They still have not contacted us back. So I gave them vehicles, just the pickup trucks. They got the VIN numbers, they got the mileage, and waiting for them to come back with some kind of proposal. Put them on a lease program, kind of upgrade the fleet.
my understanding also is they do not do dump trucks.
No.
It's just passenger vehicles. But to my point, we definitely need to come up with a capital improvement plan for all facets of business here, because instead of just putting Band-Aids on things, just throwing out a dartboard, we've got to come up with a plan. We've got to figure out how we're going to pay for things as they move forward, and not be surprised when you say, hey, I need 3 dump trucks at $180,000 a piece. We can't do that. We've got to forecast and use our financial advisor to forecast that out. A roof, a new animal shelter. I mean, all these things are coming at us. We've got to figure this out. We can't just keep being reactive. We've got to be proactive. It just makes sense to me to work with the council, come up with a plan. So, yeah, I'd like to have that from you as you're looking at your fleet of dump trucks. Is how old are they? When do you see the forecast them needing replaced? We can start working on some kind of a budget for those large ticket items, one-time ticket items.
so we did the comprehensive, or not the comprehensive plan, we did the financial analysis for that goal. And Todd, I know that part of it, there was some information in there for you about what funds you were going to be using for different projects. So we haven't had the discussion yet, but we have the option of every year renewing our financial analysis and the projections going forward. So now we're at 28 with the projections that we just got. You have the ability at a lower cost, they already did major analysis for the county to renew that every year to get it bumped out each year. And so if we do that again, Todd, that's the kind of information that we need to put in there. Because when we're projecting out 4 or 5 years and your lead time on a truck is 2, we're in that window that we need to be planning for.
Okay.
All right, so do we have a motion on the truck?
Got around it. Yes, I made a motion to go ahead and let purchase the truck.
But taking these funds from appropriation, cause a shortfall. Right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Or you don't?
No, it will not.
What are those funds that are in there today used for? Just out of curiosity.
In LRS, there's bituminous, stone, and pipes. I would be taking this out of bituminous. That's the highest ticket item in there. Right now, the State Board of Accounts, I figured out how I can pay for community crossing grant, things of that, where I pay that unrestricted. So I don't need that money for the bituminous.
Okay, but so you're confident it won't cause a shortfall?
Yes, I'm
I'll
here.
second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. CCMG 2025-1 is submitted and approved by end. Go forward. We also helped town of Millhausen go after CCMG as well. I put in an application. I just submitted it today. So hopefully they get awarded as well. I want to make everybody aware, I know it's early, but I've been involved in meetings on Highway 421, South Highway 421, from Decatur County to the adjacent county. Several culvert pipes are going to be replaced, a couple bridge closures. Biggest closure is going to be the one here at Gas Creek, right here by 5 Points. It's going to be a 30 or 45-day closure. I think the project goes to let in October of 2025. So as I get more details on that, I'll let you know. That's probably going to be the biggest thing that's going to hurt in the county, along with the city.
I would like some more details on that because I looked into this last year and actually had the city of Greensburg help as well with NDOT, and their full report said that there wouldn't be multiple closures on that section of highway. So I guess I just want to make sure that they're holding to that.
I think that they're going to do that, like that bridge around Gas Creek by 5 Points. That'll be one that'd be closed separately. The other one over Sand Creek, that's going to be a weekend closure or may possibly up to a week, but they will not be at the same time.
Because the concern is then people start using county line road. They're coming out of Napoleon to cross 46, and that road is not set up to take semi-traffic.
Well, if anything, that's one thing, and I still need to get with them. They already have the MOT plan, which is detour to the highways, okay? But they don't have an unofficial detour for the county. So I've still got to put together that, get the NDOT so they can come film those roads and make sure that we're going to be reimbursed for any damages. So it's still a little bit away, but we've got some information we need to get to them yet. So,
Speaking of reimbursement, have you ever heard anything from the railroad?
no, I have not. Railroad, from what the last comment I had with them is they turned it over to their attorney. I have not heard anything from him. I haven't reached back out to him. But that's a fight in itself, dealing with the railroad. I may have to, I know I sent that to Chad. I've got some information I need to get to him where he might be able to proceed or
I think we
kickstart
might
that.
need to have Chad send a letter.
Send me the railroad attorney's information.
All right. Lastly, I have a lady from Tree City Homeschoolers contact me and wanted to know if it would be available, if they could do a field trip at the highway department. Come out there and touch some trucks and talk to some of the guys, what we actually do at the highway. But anyhow, they're looking for a Monday in March or April. Before I agreed to let them set something up, I just wanted to get your approval to let them come do a field trip. I guess the ages, they range from elementary to junior high. So, and I'm assuming they'll have all kinds of chaperones keep those little kiddos gathered up. So,
I just turn them loose for you.
yeah. I might have to have Grandma Susan on full duty that day.
That's true. That's true.
But before I reach back out to her, I'm on that.
I'm in total agreement with that. I think that's something that's good PR for us.
Yeah.
As well.
I think it's a good thing. I remember just signing a lot of waivers, liability waivers. That's the only thing is if we have some type of generic liability waiver to bring them out there.
We have something,
Yeah.
dig it up and send it through.
Yeah. So I would want them to sign a general liability waiver form. And then, I'd like you to put some thought into where exactly you're doing the demonstration so that we don't have other vehicles or other equipment that's actually working. You just rope off or corridor off an area for them to look at the trucks and the tractors and everything. That way they're in a convenient location so that we can kind of minimize potential issues.
Okay,
But yes, I'm absolutely for that.
all right. You gentlemen have anything else for me?
I don't at this time.
I don't think so.
All right,
Thank Todd.
thank you, gentlemen.
All right, moving next to Sheriff Myros.
Good evening, gentlemen. So as I previously emailed you to make you aware, our current health provider in the jail is Southern Health Partners. They do an excellent job. We're really, really happy with them. As part of their contract, we did get 4 hours a week of mental health counseling inside the jail. But the Lilly endowment that the foundation recently got, as a part of that endowment, a full-time LCSW was written into that, and so we moved forward. So I asked Southern to amend the contract to take that amount of mental health piece out. And instead of lowering our monthly cost, they asked they put it in our cost pool overruns. And what that's for is if we're taking somebody to a hospital or something along those lines, it's not covered by the contract itself. That's where we pay that out of. So I'm asking you to agree to amend this contract, if you will, and take that mental health piece out and take that money that's dedicated for that and put it in the cost pool overrun.
How quickly, I want to make sure that we're providing mental health support that you need. How quickly are you able to get your new program up and running with the mental health side of your needs?
Our LCSW started there.
Fantastic.
We didn't drag our feet.
Excellent. I think that was the only concern that I had, Bill, is I didn't want there to be a gap in treatment.
No. We're anticipating the whole CIT program mid-March, hopefully.
Okay.
Then we're moving forward with hiring the CIT field members. We got interviews set up, I believe it's next week. So we're moving forward with that as well.
What was I'm looking through the contract. What was the cost of the mental health, the 4 hours?
It was $9,464 a year. And they did prorate that because we're a third of the way through the contract already. That contract starts October 1st every year. So we are a third of the way through this contract already.
I know you brought it to us, but this works for you. Do you have those kind of things that happen where you have something you have to
For the
or
hospital?
something? Yeah,
Yeah, it happens quite frequently.
okay. So this cost that $9,000 going into that pool
Correct.
would help you out.
Correct. And that also does roll over from year to year. So we're not going to be losing any money in that respect.
And then the next contract next year would just eliminate that
Correct.
and then start.
Well, that additional amount.
Yes. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I make a motion to approve it.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Okay, so more thing more, there's an issue with that.
Very much. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Rob Dehoff, Parks Department, with an update on the ball diamonds. There he is.
I'm gonna give you guys this, some of the stuff I believe I've sent to you guys already in email. Recap.
Okay.
First off, thank you guys for letting me speak again. Don't really enjoy coming here all the time, but it seems like I do. So,
You're just becoming one of those like mainstays on the agenda there.
I don't know, I like all the attention.
Rob.
So, reason I'm coming tonight, obviously, just give an update, obviously, on the front 4 diamonds, things are going as planned. We, obviously, the weather, we discussed that last meeting. With possible change order, I still have word from AstroTurf that, obviously, we're still all on roll internally to get it done by first date April 5th, barring nothing else major happens, right? So we'll see what the weather does in the next week or two and go from there. But I do want to introduce, I do have Joey Rollins with USSSA, President of Ohio Valley Sports with me here today. And I also brought Kevin Chrisman, he's with AstroTurf, or AstroTurf rep. But so leading into that, obviously, I've had some discussion about the current ARPA funds that we have available to the Parks Department that was allocated to us at the end of the year. It was initial $345,000, and potentially using that to put towards turfing the back 4 diamonds. I shared with you numbers that are currently allocated that we have from RDC that we can redirect from that. If you look at page 2 that I sent you there. I put that together after going through some things and talking to people through last week. Talked to the community foundation and had some other ideas as well, and possibly covering any shortage that we might have in that. If we redirect some of those funds that we had received from the RDC, it would leave us about $209,000, $210,000 off what we would need to just go ahead and turf those back for. And we could really crunch budget numbers and get down to there. But what really brought this conversation to light is obviously the cost of doing those now is going to be cheaper than the cost of doing those later on. I did ask Kevin what that would be, and there's really no way to judge that right now because they're sticking to their commitment of what that estimate was. If you look on the first page of $676,000 for those back eight diamonds or back 4 diamonds. So with that being said, they would not expect any payment until the end of their fiscal year, December 15th of 2025. So it'll still give us time to cover that shortage, knowing that we have the 210,000 up to that point, which hopefully be generating revenue and also seek other ways to obtain that within that time, obviously as quickly as possible, whether it be through the community foundation, grants, or other forms of repayment. I know one thing that they do offer, and Kevin, if you want to say anything too, is they do offer flexible terms with us after the fact if need be. So
Looks like your adjusted annual revenue, your anticipation is 207,000.
are you looking on the sheet I gave you, Gabe?
I am page 4.
Page 4.
Which, oh, you're going on.
The scenario
So
2.
that's on, that's just on the first 4 diamonds only. So that's just adjusted annual revenue. If you look back onto, if we do, all 8 diamonds, it's the same.
Yeah.
So 207,000, that is through concession sales and ball diamond rental. The biggest thing that I want to focus on is obviously the economic impact. I provided a page in the back of that, but real numbers of what's going on in Columbus. Just you can look like this. That came from USSSA softball. That was last year on the tournaments they ran through Columbus. Those are real numbers of what their economic impact was. Right now, Joey, I'm going to have you step in. Yeah, we have 15 tournaments booked with them. And he just shared this information when we walked in the room. He's just with baseball, so it's a mix between baseball, softball. The 8 tournaments that he has in that schedule with us through July are almost sold out. You know, and the one we were looking at was right around 40 teams. And that's not even, those numbers aren't even included on this. This is just softball only. So I think the true economic impact number holds true that, and obviously I think my number is conservative. If we're thinking 24 tournaments, which I think we can get at, we're going to meet again in March with USSSA, and their year starts every August. So we have booked up 13 to July. We have 2 October tournaments, and we're going to discuss in March filling out October all the way till August, or through August to August of next year. We'll be able to really determine what we'll have on the plate then. Another thing that Joey and I discussed, and I'm actually meeting with Tim Foster tomorrow, and I spoke with Jason Cleaver, which runs the C tournaments through softball. They both said they're very interested in discussing with us a long-term deal or long-term agreement over the next 4 to 5 years to secure 15, 20 tournaments a year, minimum. I would say minimum. If we turf all like diamonds, I'll let him speak. That's where people want to play. I mean, it isn't just them guys. They'll promote it on their website. But when teams see turf, that's where they want to go to play. They don't want to play on dirt because they know they're going to play if it rains. They have a rain. I mean, unless it storms all weekend, obviously they can't get out there on it. So we've had that discussion before, just the front court. I just think the time to do it with it while we have the resources out there is now. The prices are going to get any cheaper from now, then they're going to stand by that.
And I know that it's in here, but
Right.
what is the potential savings by doing it now versus?
That's the thing. I was going to tell you, Kevin. I could not come up with that number. Obviously, it's going to get higher. I just don't know what the potential savings is. Kevin and I discussed that, and there's really no way they can tell it now because they didn't. I don't know, Kevin. Can you maybe?
Well, I just mean versus coming back,
Right.
having to.
Would it be similar to what you paid for the first 4?
It would probably be higher.
It would be higher. Yeah, because I mean, I think it's obviously there to logistically to look at it. If you look at those back 8, they're spread out further. Or back 4, they're spread out further. So obviously, it's about $100,000 less. $100,000 less they're giving us to do those back 4, and we're actually going to be spending more material on those back 4. So to me, if they were to come back, it's going to be significantly more than the front 4.
So you would be able to roll from the front 4 immediately to the back 4.
We would have to put in a production line, still a timetable for the turf, but yes, that's reasonable.
What about tournaments that you have scheduled at this point? Does this cause any issues with the tournaments that you have scheduled?
So I did speak with, obviously I spoke with Brad Shooty, who's doing the groundwork with through AstroTurf now. He would move right onto those, and as the weather gets better, they're going pretty good. They do a good job.
Mhm.
They would just keep rolling, and then we would get it in production with AstroTurf. I mean, the turf, when we got in production, took like a month, 2 weeks to a month maybe to produce. So to answer that question, I do have a contingency plan with them. We would try our best to work all the tournaments that we have booked now to the front. They were pretty much banking on front 4 anyway, because that's all they do, right?
That's
So
what
we're,
live schedule for.
yeah, so we're running,
5 dates. I have April 26th through May through Memorial Day. We
Yeah.
were just using the front.
To his point, if back 4 diamonds are, say, not usable, does that create any kind of conflict with county ball, also tournaments or?
well, that's what I'd have to get with our boards, get to talk with them as well. Obviously, that's key on my mind, is to make sure it's been the biggest thing on my mind with this, is if we do that, we would still be able to hopefully finish timetable to where they could still utilize those diamonds towards the end of their season, right? We would have to strategically use those and maybe even work Kohler Park into there to get it done. We have 2 diamonds. We could use Kohler Park, obviously, for some of those games until it's complete, but that gives us 6 diamonds. And sometimes those diamonds don't even be used. I don't remember 8 maybe they run some T-ball on it from time to time that I've seen here lately, but I can't really speak to what it's actually being used for, because the boards are the ones that are putting the schedule, softball and baseball.
Have you taken this to the Parks Board?
We discussed that at a Parks Board meeting, our last Parks Board meeting, and I would say that our Parks Board is in favor of just getting it done now if we can.
Have you applied for that grant from the community foundation?
So I did speak with Tammy Winning at the Community Foundation. I also spoke with Rick Nobby, who is their chair. We don't know who Rick is. Rick and Tammy are. So they both said it's something that we could discuss to do. Obviously, there's some changes going on how their current format is to grant. Usually they had a program where you could do if 80% of your project funded, they donate 20%, but they want to try to get to somewhere, what the actual terms are. They want to get from like 1.5 million to 3 million to be able to fund things the way they would like to this year. So right off the bat, they would be able to offer up a certain amount, but not all of it. But we'd have to work with them to possibly, if they decide to partner with us, Brian, I'd have to go present to them. We may not get it all, but they may be able to contribute some right now that I have to research other avenues to.
So originally we talked about them giving, being able to, a grant for 20% of the project.
Right, yeah.
That's not
They're
the
holding,
case now.
they're holding off on doing it now. I mean, now there's excitement around it, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing they can guarantee at this time because I have to go present to see. Right. Yeah, but they do know, I mean, there is interest, but they would have to get their total board buy-in to go get anything.
My next question is, the $345,000, if this is not a go, where does that money go?
But that was out from ARPA, so that can be used within the parks department. Any parks project that can be allocated to Decatur County Parks and Recreation. I know there was some other things on the table that may not be going for now, so I thought,
Yeah, so I was in that ARPA meeting. So those funds were allocated to them for the potential use of a project, but then it later was just decided to generalize and put it into just for the parks fund, right? To decide how to.
Correct.
How quickly does AstroTurf need to know that we're either going to turn around and continue with this project, or we're going to say no to the expansion on the back floor?
Continuing to string along with the construction and the grading and everything, it's kind of like dominoes, but
Sure.
we're in it for the long run with y'all, no matter what. So.
Well, I mean, I'm
But
looking at,
it's got to do with production line and,
Yeah.
and putting it back in the mill and getting the fabric made is usually, we got to stay close to when it was produced. So you're staying in the same dot line and stuff. So it's kind of a timing mechanism. That's why I presented that, if we can roll with it, it makes a lot more sense.
okay. So I'm looking at, I mean, we sit here, we just rolled into February. We're anticipating a completion of April 1.
April 1, April 5th. The
Somewhere
contract was
around
April
there.
5th.
So we're roughly 2 months out. So obviously at that point, you would need to know if you're moving from front board to back board. But if we can get you a solid answer, say by our either the second meeting in February or the first meeting in March, is that acceptable for AstroTurf?
Yeah, we're in it for the long run. We'll work it out. It's just kind of a timing mechanism of mill and get moving on to production, because it's all about the production. And then you have your crew there right now that's doing a great job for your place here, and just keeping them moving and rolling. It just makes sense with the machines and everything that's out there now and the equipment.
Yep. Do you know when the next foundation meeting is?
End of the month,
Okay.
in February.
All right. Can you get onto their agenda, have a presentation prepared, and see where we can get with that?
Here's my concern.
Yep.
With that date is tentative start date to work on those backboard diamonds with the dirt. We've already, obviously, we need to switch gears. We had already, part of our plan, part of the phase was to convert those to dirt, basically refurbish, to redo those, put some time and some effort into those. That tentative start date was March 1. Now we can hold them off, obviously, to do that. But that's their time frame to get it done, so they're even ready by April 1 as well. Well, our first tournament's scheduled April 11th, and obviously, even though they're going to be using turf primarily, we still need to be able to use the back diamond sports for our rec league and for consolation games for these tournaments.
Okay. Have you had any discussions with council yet on this?
I've had discussions with some council members, not the council.
My big concern is allocating these funds and then being short and trying to come up with $210,000. And that's my angst.
Well, I don't know that we need to vote to allocate the funds. They're already allocated. It's just, he's simply saying we're $210,000 short, and do we want to try to make a plan to make that work? Or
Right.
And of course, we could have, if the community foundation is able to help,
Right.
great, but
So, I mean, some ideas, obviously, some other ideas that I've had is I think, I sent an email to you guys about possibly looking into, bonds, and then, possibly asking the city to help out some more. With it being such a big expense. And then also too, I don't know how the edit funds look, the repayment edit funds through revenue generated. Complex.
So I think the city should be approached, because under the old ordinance that's still in effect, the city's supposed to be helping on cost share for Parks and Rec. And so, yes, I think the city should be doing this. I mean, when you look at revenue generation from these kinds of things, they're going to be staying in the city. They're going to be
Right.
spending money in the city,
Right.
as well as the county.
Right.
But there is a definite cost benefit to the city for these types of projects. So city and foundation, I think, need to be approached here. What was the revenue, the anticipated revenue per tournament?
It's a revenue per tournament.
So
Can I bring that in with me? I had that on the old one.
tournaments were labeled as 50,000 per year. So if you break that down, qualify.
Yep. Okay. So roughly 12,500.
Yeah,
That's
when
concession.
conservative number, that's concession. That doesn't include any diamond rental, which is another.
Yep.
Depending when we raise it, when those.
10 to 15 for diamond rental.
Yeah.
So approximately 22.5 to 27.5 in for each tournament.
You guys are gonna be renting RV space, correct? Jim?
So we
I don't
have,
know if that's part of the revenue, but
we have
you guys got
RV,
that figured out yet?
we have RV capability down at the fairgrounds. One of the aspects of the Ready 2.0 project included an increase in RV hookups down at the fairgrounds, so that we will be able to rent RV space down there as well.
So I don't know. If you can set aside those funds and we can agree, hey, you know what, we're gonna push forward on this and try and do it. I'm Scott Richards, I'm on Hartford too. Maybe those guys can hold their costs and then Rob has time to go back the United way.
Yep.
And worst case scenario, fall league's done, right? When did those guys start here? So we're still talking about
They're done in
2025
In
getting it
July.
done,
Yeah.
right? And then we'll have a better feel. We're kind of going through, even with the youth league, I've looked at some of the fixed costs out there. I mean, the electric jumps way up. June, July, right? July, they're done. So for 2 months, and if you look at the difference, I mean, we're trying to, my opinion, again, and I haven't went through the board with this, I think all of the youth league and all that stuff needs to go through our sports director.
Well, I'll agree with that.
I mean, there's been money getting paid for and
It's a coordinated effort instead of having two separate things.
well, and I think there would have been money over the last 20 years to help pay those electric bills. And again, there's just some things. Now's a really good time to look at that. We're going to close this in, cut off access. I think the big winner here is keeping our families in town, right? Instead of them going to Columbus. And I think it probably helps USAA knowing that we've got diamonds. So, and what they can't control is they may have a tournament when the weather's nice, and then all of a sudden they don't have 10 teams. Now they got 25 teams. Where are we going to play them? Well, they'll come up here. We've got the diamonds, and that's Saraland's always packed, right? I mean, I've umpired a lot of games over there, and you want to go find the families with Decatur County, that's where they're at. So anyway.
Yeah.
You guys' decision, I'm just trying to say, you know what, even if we did it before the year's out, worst case scenario, we might be able to find the extra money.
So one of the big things that Rob and I keep talking about is that if we're going to have this extra expenditure, worst case scenario, we have to pay the added expense here. I want to have some type of an agreement from U-Trip. And so if you could just hop up here real quick for me.
Joey, that's you.
So what would you need? What do you look for in some type of a long-term agreement? Because I mean, we're talking about a huge additional cost here for the county to do the additional 4 tournaments. So what do you need? What are you looking
Well, I mean, we're very open to partnering with you guys. I run the baseball side of Ohio Valley Sports. There's 2 other directors that have their own business entity. They both run fast pitch events. It's Tim and Foster and Jason Cleaver. But, between the 3 of us now, how many dates is it, Rob?
15.
15
this year. So far,
15.
yeah.
I have 5 and then 1 in the fall. But it's facilities, with facility upgrades. All 3 of us would be committed to providing a variety of fast pitch and baseball each weekend and, bringing the teams to town.
And so if we are willing to agree to do this, as you sit here now, you could foresee the possibility of locking in a long-term contract going forward for, say, 5 years.
Yeah, I think you can speak with Jason and Tim. They're weren't able to attend, but they're bad. They're willing to lock in and run as many weekends as well. I mean, between the three companies, it's 70 tournaments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, and Scott can umpire close to home.
I do have a question for you. So do you notice that typically, have you done this for a while? I've been with the company. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you notice as this becomes into summer, do you notice lead times start to go out? Does production schedules increase from the 3 weeks, or do you guys stay pretty consistent?
Well, we're rocking and rolling right now. It's massive 24-hour production. We have our own in-house crew people that work. We have our own crew up down in Dalton, Georgia right now. They work 24 hours. It's constant. The mill's going constantly.
Well, my question is centered around if you were to wait, let's say 2 months before you jumped into that production schedule, does that lead time increase from 3 weeks to 8 weeks?
Well, a
or
lot
10
more
weeks?
projects are being sold, a lot more projects are being made, so it kind of gets in the timeline of backing up a little bit.
Okay.
I was just trying to make sure you understood that once we enter into agreement, like we try to really be honest with our lead times to get it done, because we don't want any setbacks. We're gonna make that deadline, and that's what we're at right now. And that's, so to answer your question, it's like, it gets a little bit more busier, but we make it happen. We just put extra people on it.
And that current time frame is roughly 3 weeks after receipt of order, right?
It's about 3 weeks. If I'm lying to you, it's 3 weeks. If I'm telling you the truth, it's probably 3 weeks.
Unless you have somebody like me that requests changes on stuff.
Yeah, that's another story. We won't bring that up, but it was all good fun though.
Okay.
So we have one of two ways, I guess we have a number of ways here that we can handle payment. We can delay, see what can happen with the city, the foundation. We can give a nod of approval with a plan to rewrite, edit to cover this, and talk with AstroTurf about some type of payment terms going forward, to just take a look at those, to do our due diligence. We have the ability to go to the council and talk about taking this out of another fund. Or we can say no.
I think we need to explore those possibilities that you're talking about.
I'm willing to go to a meeting with the city this week if we want to ask for one. I can ask for one, or if you want to, we can at least go just have that prime initial discussion.
The city has already given.
Yeah, so I'll be there
As a city.
Thursday to get, I'm going with Josh and Zach, obviously, for the portion of the front to get that taken care of too, but we can start those conversations on the back as well. What the So, obviously, Gabe, if you want to go, I'd be happy. Sit down
I'll
with
stand
Josh.
behind you and shake my hand.
Huh?
I'll stand behind you and shake my hand.
I guess the ask is for me then too, is, I'm passionate about this, and what's going on is, I think it's gonna be great for our community, our kids. I have a list of things here I can cover, but I'm not, because you guys heard it all before. We've covered a lot of it already, but I could have that, we could get it committed to that and then explore the option of how we're gonna pay for it down the road. But that way we know that money is allocated for that. It's staying with AstroTurf, your triple SA, get those amendments taken care of,
Yeah.
and then move forward.
I am very, very intrigued on doing that. I can see the revenue generation, and in county government like this, we don't have things that generate revenue like this
Right.
very often.
Right.
So I am very intrigued on the possibility of expanding this, the apparent success that we already have, and bringing in an organization to run 15 tournaments in 2024 from where we were. It's fantastic. So it's something that I'm definitely very intrigued about. I want to make sure that financially we're looking everywhere.
That's to me where it comes down to, is we
Yeah.
gotta make sure that we do our due diligence.
Yes.
Did you, was the numbers from Fast Pitch for each individual event?
They were individual events.
Visitor Center, is that something they have?
Yep.
They did, I gave them that,
Okay.
and then it breaks it down into what it was annually for Columbus, right?
And
So, I mean,
60 to
it's-
70.
Now, we may not get there, but that doesn't include any baseball, you know what I mean? So they're running a lot more tournaments over there, but for us, I mean, I think my number's conservative for an annual number. That-
I mean, honestly, another limiting factor that I think we might have are accommodations.
That is right, so I did adjust those numbers, we only have a little over 300 rooms in Greensburg, so I did adjust the numbers down to that. I mean, but it's only gonna help us push to grow and have more
Yes.
accommodations, that'll overflow, some of those numbers will overflow for the overnights in Shelbyville and Batesville, but at least that's close enough for us still. And then we need to do other things out there to keep them here during the day, you know what I mean, we've talked about that, some other things that we need to do. Facilities, obviously, campgrounds, Scott brought together, brought our attention, anything else, we have a great area, for people, families to go and enjoy their day.
Did you figure out Diamond sponsored? Yeah, I know we were guessing on that, but that's additional income.
We've talked about.
That is something, I think the focus, Brian and I talked, I think the focus should be right now, Scott, is just to get all this taken care of, figure out where we're at, and then focus on those revenue things after the fact, because I can sell sponsorships a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I still-
But that isn't a work, I did get some more numbers today on what some sign adjustments, things like that, that way I can better price our sponsorship back. So, yeah, that's all in the works, that's pretty good. No, I appreciate it, I do. Really do.
So I'm for the project. I just want to make sure that we are spending money the way we need to be spending. And if there's other partners that are willing to contribute to it, I'd like to have some of those conversations. You guys,
Same here.
that's only my,
I feel exactly the same
I'm
way.
only one,
So
so.
what are we okay to say that money's to be used for that?
The ARPA funds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
My thing is yes, if we can get it
If
all
we can-
funded.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not for like going, I want to work on it. I don't like approaching and trying to ask for a project to go without it being fully funded, right?
Right.
Like, I think we need to explore that, but yeah, they have time. What do you say? Something?
I just want to add, we have our own finance department, we own it. They're liberal terms, it's also another avenue is PNC Bank with us, we can get you in touch with all of our finance people and hold your hand and walk through it with you and become partners in this. It's very liberal, I know nobody wants to owe money, but we believe in the project, we believe in the process that we've already started because we envision what can be done. On a personal level, and I don't want to get too deep in this, but to add to it is I've traveled all over the country, all over the world for that matter, not only with AstroTurf, but 35 years in Major League Baseball. And I live down the street from Grant Park. I saw it absolutely explode. And every business, every hotel, every anchor, everybody just went in and out of the town. So it is big, I get that, our city, but it's just, the atmosphere is unbelievable. It's great with the people and your people that live here. And I just want to make sure you guys know that we're willing to sit down and figure this thing out on a financial level and makes it less burden for you guys. And just open up and understand what we can possibly do to walk hand in hand with you.
So I don't know if either of you, I'm sure you saw it in the financial analysis, Decatur County only has two pieces of debt. The new highway garage and the jail.
Right.
And the discussions that I had with Baker and Tilly, they were, I think, astonished, shocked by that,
Yes.
by the low amount of debt that Decatur County had. They said we've done fantastic fiscally. Paige did note that in some ways it's having such low debt loads was stifling development. So that's not something that I want to run out and, borrow a bunch of money to do something, but it's something that to keep in mind going forward. Can you send me worst case scenario, $209,000 finance through you?
Yeah.
With your terms, send me that proposal so that we have all the.
Well, it's our terms. It's your
Interest free, right?
It's very liberal. I'm just gonna tell you that. I'm not the finance guy. I just know
We talked about that.
I just know it's a very enticing situation to
Broken
get
down.
involved in, as long as we discuss it, talk about it, and get the right channels of people that are expertise in discussing that. Yes, 100%.
You can get my email from Rob.
Yeah.
And so that way we can explore all of the options that we have.
I think that's us doing our due diligence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
I'm
I
not done.
think that this is, oh, you're still going.
No, you go ahead. What were you gonna say, Ron?
No, go ahead.
No, there's a couple other things I want to discuss, obviously. First thing was was there, Christie even here, that there was a big claim that was for payment to return. Second half, put on there. Chance?
The only. See that. I
Because
didn't.
that was actually sent in December, and I sent it to Janet, and Janet and I discussed getting it on the agenda for you guys.
Oh, I think we already did that.
Did you?
There were,
Because that, yeah, we could, I thought it was taken care of, so then they asked me where it was, and I said, well, I sent it to Janet, and I think in transition there to Christie, that it may have, I thought it maybe got overlooked.
let me go back and look. Because
That's
I
what we
thought
thought,
that was
Christie and I thought.
I'm not here to collect, by the way.
Well, I reassured you that we can get that paid as soon as possible.
We'll see how.
No, I look like Tony Soprano, but I'm really not here.
Fine.
What is it allocated out of? Is that a part?
Was it paid to Astra? I can look at it.
I don't see anything on here for after.
It wasn't in this one. I thought
I
we,
can- The claims that have been paid to Astra.
Well, we have to wait till next meeting if it's not.
no,
I mean, obviously we have to, but it's, that will be processed.
What else you got?
I didn't talk while you guys are looking at
That's
it.
all right.
Now, so obviously, last time I was here, I also brought up the discussion of adding fencing to the complex. Obviously, the case for that is to make us, I mean, the biggest thing for me is to secure it. Another big thing is to make it more appealing to our tournament organizers, allowing, but one of the biggest things that they were worried about when we had our initial talks about coming back to Greensburg was obviously logistically the parking out there. You know, people can go anywhere, wherever. For us to kind of harness that in is going to be a nightmare, honestly, to be. By putting up this fencing, it then allows us to flow traffic to 2 gates. They only have to man 2 gates. You know, it's going to make them more efficient and to, obviously, gain more income. We get more people in. So with that, I did receive an estimate for the fencing. I just want to make sure you guys were okay with us going ahead and get that fencing up.
so I found before we get there.
Sure, go ahead.
I found a grant to AstroTurf for $101,116.10
November.
that was submitted for.
That one probably was paid. Then we had.
That it would have been submitted for the December 16th meeting. Is it not that one?
I don't think so. This one I'm thinking of was significantly higher than that one. And it is the production of the turf and whatever finishing up the groundwork.
Oh, so so we had one that would have been our first meeting of 2025.
Okay, that sounds more like.
$338,472.65. That would have been approved at the first meeting of 2025.
So it was approved, they just hadn't received payment, so.
Okay. Yep. So that would have been,
I need to talk to Christie about that then, this is approved. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Fencing,
Yes, fencing.
you didn't give us a cost.
Oh, cost? Well, that's my half a million wire right here is 18, hang on, actual number is $18,576.
And that is included in all of this.
It's not, I'd have to adjust some numbers around because that was an afterthought. This is a thought after we put those numbers together. That only included fencing in so if you ever been at the complex, the backs of the diamonds, that work has been done. That was like 3,700. We have money in there to take care of that. So we closed off the back ends and there's little gaps by each dugout there on the front board where it could slide through. Or, I could slide through if I wanted to push through there. But we put we close those in too with 2 poles in there, kind of arrange something for their Indiana wire bit. So this number was not even thought about at the time. But I think we can adjust some numbers around and take care of it that we currently have from the RDC in that budget to get it paid for, to go ahead and get it taken care of. So I just want to make sure if we do that, kind of manage the budget numbers and see if you guys are okay with us putting the fence up, secure the property and make us more appealing.
Yeah, funding for it.
So that's gonna close it off completely, so there won't be 2 places to enter in, correct?
There'll be 2 places. So where this also includes a fence between 1 and 2, where currently the drive up is, so people can't walk in that way. And then one thing it doesn't have on here is the wind screening too, which I did have that as part of our initial budget with RDC. So we're gonna wind screen 1, 2, and 8. Because if we have to do additional parking behind 8, that'll be opened up. But this will be from the backside dugout on 8. It'll come across where the current white fence is, angle up towards 2, cross our main entryway with the gate. There's a sidewalk will have a gate. And then we're also gonna go from the back corner of 1 on the north side over to 5, where the north entrance is. We'll come down along 5, windscreen along 5 too. That way they can't sit in the parking lot watching the game going on 5 and then come to the backside of that dugout on 5 as well. So that I thought that was very reasonable. Joey and I talked about because he sees numbers. He saw what North Vernon did when they did their turf down there. They spent over $40,000 on it. So I don't think they did half of what we did. Yeah.
So I think Indiana Wire might be.
I talked to them about that. So I'm thinking that they'll take care of part of this. But so here's the funny thing is they sponsor Diamond 4 right now and they had no idea. The person out there didn't even know. So that's something we definitely have to be on top of.
18,000.
I mean, I could, but I think revisiting that, at least getting and paying for part of that, if not one, like maybe the first estimate being a Diamond sponsor, if it's extended years, I'm happy to make that, had that discussion, negotiation with them. So
Fortunately, all you've done is ask for money since you've been up there.
I got to start making some again.
But I see this, me personally, I see this as absolute necessity, and if you're able to, we all see what already happens now, right? I
Right.
mean, people line up all the way around the backside to back their cars up, open, the rear hatches and sit there, and if we're trying to make money and make this a revenue generating unit, I think we're gonna have to pass it off.
But I've already had, so I had, been talking with some other companies too about having cameras out there as well. So if they want to make the effort to go all the way around the back of those diamonds and come up and walk in and vandalize, we'll get them on camera as well. Gonna help us out.
I think if you've got the money, let's do it.
Do it? All right. Very good. Any other questions for me?
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
I'll look into that.
All right. Thank you guys.
Pass that out. Brian Robbins. Now, I told you earlier today, I was gonna give you
3 short stories that my grandpa told me that I'd like to go over.
No, real quick, you guys have a letter before you. I'm here on behalf of the Stellar team, which is made up of the EDC, the city, the chamber, Main Street Greensburg Tourism, Parks and Rec, and the foundation. We've been meeting together monthly since the city applied for the Stellar program back in 2017. And we look for various projects to take on. This one is through the Indiana Destination Development Corporation. It's called the Indiana Placemaking Activation Grant Program. And the idea is to actually mark some of the most photogenic areas in Decatur County with signage and then create a map. And you guys have probably heard of the Chicken Trail and everything else, but more of a county centered placemaking trail based on photographic spots in the county. These of the county owned spots, Charlie Buell Trail and Rebecca Park, Cherry Blossom Grove, the Westport Covered Bridge, and the courthouse lawn Any power tree will be marked, and we're just asking for permission to have, or your support to have signs, placed at those locations. Once we have it, the sign will be about 10 by 12 or so, nothing too intrusive or anything like that. And if we do get a grant from the state, we'll work with you as to place it from where they are on the site.
Document on here says that by agreeing to this, we are agreeing to grant 10-year minimum requirement for maintenance.
That's what I, the 10
So,
year.
10 years required for, yeah, because they don't want to make a grant.
and no cost.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Rob, see
I mean, it's one match. I'm learning.
Do you have any examples of what the signs would look like?
We're working with green signs right now. I can get those to you as soon as we have.
I've seen something aluminum or something that's gonna be maintenance free.
Yeah. Minimum maintenance.
Right.
Nobody's looking forward to going out there. Haven't added to it, but yeah, I'll feed you guys in the list almost as far as what those do look like.
Great thing.
I was hoping to have those for you by now, but
I'm in support of it, but I just like to see it.
No.
before I say yes. Because who knows what the sign looks like?
Well,
I mean, can we approve this and deal with the sign later?
oh yeah, absolutely. This is a letter of support and that.
As long as,
Get it up.
as long as the sign's ready, changes altered.
Yeah.
Just in case.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Before breaking's up here, I just wanted to share a few. He was trying to jump me in line.
All right, well, Brett, you want to be next?
Well, I won't be as long-winded as Rob.
Oh, my goodness.
And all I'm asking for is a thanks, commissioners, for giving me some time tonight. My name is Brett Plant. I'm CEO of Decatur County RMC. Here, asking for a support letter, signatures on a support letter for our beat application. So I'll give you a few ups and downs of what a co-op is and why us maybe. So we were created by our rural members to run electric where no one else would. We're member created, we are owned and ran by our members. We are a nonprofit business model. We have no shareholders. We're about $35 million business, about 53 million in assets, and about 6,600 members, about 8,200 meters, and 29 employees. So give you a little background on kind of our fiber project. So we started about 3 to 4 years ago with member surveys. We had several feasibility studies done. One interesting fact from that was we're the 11th worst connected county in the state of Indiana. And so through those feasibility studies, we saw the need. We've done it with electricity. We felt like we were the person that could do this. So our goal, the board's goal, was really to serve all members. That's kind of been the goal from the very, very beginning, is everyone in our service territory would have access. So this all started with NLC 4 grant, which was a state grant. It was about 86 million across the state. We had to divide up our territory into 6 applications, essentially. If you guys look at that, I think you have the maps, right?
We do.
If you look at the map there were 6. We had to divide it into 6 because they capped those. So in order to capture our entire territory, we had to, and the funding that we needed, we had to break up into 6. Fortunate or unfortunate, we got one of those, which is the teal color. I'm colorblind, so I gotta kind of make sure I get my colors. It's the teal colored, which is from Delaware down to Napoleon, and then up through New Point and down East X Road. That was about 1,400 passings. The $4.9 million grant is about $11 million bill. So that's what we're calling phase 1. We just came to our announcement. PowerStream Fiber is the company name. It's essentially a division underneath Decatur County RMC with a partnership, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So now that brings us on to the rest of the members, right? So we've got 1,400 that will be passing, starting hopefully construction in the next 3 or 4 months. We have to be finished by that, which will beat this timing, but September of 2026 for phase one. So the rest of our members, we will be going after B grant for all the eligible there. So if you take a look at that map, all the red dots represent addresses that are available for grants. So those are the underserved or not served. And if you look at the gray census blocks, so this one's a little different than next level. Next level was literally addresses. So you could pick what addresses to go after. This one is actually by census block. So you can see that our service territory, I don't have marked on here, but you can see where Decatur County's at and then all of our service territory. So essentially we're going to be going after every member that wasn't covered by phase one. And it's all going to be done in one application. Reason that is they're doing it by census blocks, they're not capping it. We figure if we do it as one, it bolsters the whole application process. I talked about the partnership. This is something pretty interesting about this project. It was kind of near and dear to my heart to get this done. Like I said, this is a division under the REMC. We are under a joint venture with SCI Communication, which is also a local co-op. So we both follow the same principles of the co-op model. And we both contribute our expertise a little bit different. Of course, we've never ran a fiber business, so we needed the expertise in that. We do billing, we do member service, and all the other things. We have assets in the ground, in the air, and so we felt like the partnership would, we could each bring our expertise to the table, and that's so far it looks great. So, so why support is on this? One important thing that I always tell folks when we do this, this is local money, local employees, and state local, right? So all the funding, this is going to be roughly looking at the entire project, including phase one. It's a $52 million asset. So of course, I told you my assets are about $53 million. So we're doubling our balance sheet literally in the next couple of years if we get these grants. But those funds stay here locally, which is nice. The county's already invested. We did get some of the ARPA money that put us in position to be available for these grants, put us in a good position for that. We have a strong history of serving our community and members. Again, this local partnership is a huge advantage. We feel like that's really going to bolster this application. And then last, our business model is a nonprofit model. Anything that we make above and beyond our costs get allocated back to the members, and therefore we don't have shareholders and things that we have to make this large profit. You look at these business cases, and they're way, 16, 18-year paybacks. So they're very heavy on investment with very, very little payback. So anyway, we feel like we're the best position for this. So I'm just asking for your support. I do have a letter that I would send you guys already drafted. Just ask that we put on the letterhead and then last, the way that these support letters are working also is I highly encourage you just to do one. So regardless of if it does or not, I would do one because basically the state's going to view those as they get doubles, as you won't get points for it. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Financially, does the B grant cover all investment?
No.
So has REMC done the work already at this point to ensure that you have the money secured going?
Great question, Jeremy. And yes, we have. So we have funded through our RUS is who we basically do our funding through the electric side. And so they're also doing the fiber side. A lot of co-ops are starting to get into this. So we secured, and that's honestly, Jeremy, it's a requirement from the BEAD application. That you have to do a 10-year forecast that shows you have funding sources there. So yes, anything that we will need from a funding source, we will have that.
And you're covering all REMC members?
Yeah, and plus some. Yeah, there are actually, if you look at the map there, for this one here, for this grant, because it's by consensus, or by census, not consensus, census block, in order to, let's just say I'm making these numbers up, for this census block that has 3 members in it, that we want to serve those 3, obviously, we have to pick up anybody else that's in there. So there could be some Dukes, some Rush Shelby, some other customers of other utilities that we have to pick up as a requirement by the grant.
So from my perspective, coming into this, I wanted to make sure that everybody in Decatur County has access to high-speed internet with the way the world is going today. I had every intention of asking both of you to support Comcast and REMC and their proposals because I want to make sure people get the internet. That was until I received the email with Comcast feed map. And the biggest issue that I have is the coverage. REMC, when you compare your bead map that you have compared to theirs, they are eliminating everything on the western side of Decatur County. I mean, if you're going from St. Paul down past Hartsville, I mean, it's anything basically on the western part, Clay, Jackson townships, you're eliminating from their map, and it's pretty easy when you look through it. I mean, it's southern part of Decatur County. The only areas that they're hitting are down towards Westport down 3. That's it. And so if we can support your application higher so that we can get everybody internet, that's where I sit now, because I don't believe that the Comcast proposal meets the requirements that we should be advocating for as commissioners to provide people with internet.
Yeah, it's kind of typical tier one. I don't know if you've seen that map, but it's kind of tier one mentality. Let's overbuild all of our assets in Greensburg and Westport on government funding into fiber and leave all the people who don't currently have service without service. So I'm in full support.
That's not uncommon in that.
It's tier one mentality.
And so for us, what you're going to see is there's no plans to overbuild. We want to utilize these funds to get people that don't have them.
Yeah, I am in full support of REMC here. They're local and they're supplying the best product here for everybody.
When, as you put it, as it just comes down to it, getting everybody high-speed internet. Your map, your process looks definitely better than what Comcast does. So I'm in full support of that as well.
So do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Go ahead, Jim. Or Gabe.
You can do it at the same time. I make a motion to approve the letter for Decatur County RMC.
I second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you,
We'll
Commissioner.
get you a signed copy.
That's the thicker, bro.
Right, former jail site. All right, so,
Do you mind?
hop on up.
Christine here, the city attorney for Greensburg. I'm really here for the next agenda item, but I thought it might be beneficial for you to know where the status of this is. So much cajoling and necessary arm twisting. I finally have a surveyor who did the survey properly and completely and done, and we now have an adequate legal description to press forward. So that I'm just asking for the city just be asking for a signature on that survey so it can be properly recorded, and then we can complete that real estate transfer. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the commissioners, a year ago,
I believe it was 2023.
2 years ago,
No, I guess it was a year or so. This one, the other one was 20.
had voted to sell the old jail lot. And so this is the survey.
And then to just give you an update while he, getting signature on that. So the RDC is still working. They submitted a bid proposal out. Iron Man Construction is a company that focuses on building multifamily use dwellings and complexes. They submitted a proposal. We are currently working through an economic development agreement with them. It's anticipated that it would be a 4-story multi-family regular housing located inside the downtown district here on that one. So once that economic development, so that the
the phases of engineering have already started. They've already started working on plans and designs. They've submitted a couple of different proposals to the RDC. Once we finish up the terms of that EDA, then they should be ready to get rolling and building some property there. So that is all I needed on that one.
While you're here
Yes,
on this project,
yes.
it's my understanding that the city is seeking a variance on their parking lot.
So parking is one of the additional areas necessary to address with this size of build.
Correct.
There is a plan in place that will take a pre-existing lot that is already a city-owned piece of property and convert it into a parking lot.
Right. And does the design of the parking lot include bump outs, landscaping, and trees?
It
or have-
would have originally done so under the UDO. That's the variance that they would be seeking and discussing with the BZA plan. So, but yes, they were tasked with designing the parking lot in the same manner and structure as our UDO requires, and then seeking variance when necessary. That's all I have on that one, so I know I'm passionate about.
Thank you.
Evidently is the criteria.
All right, Chris?
So that brings us to the next item that I have here. So back in 2023, the city started working in conjunction with the county and the parks to build an additional multi-use trail at Rebecca Park. There is a portion of the property, a portion of the trail that goes across the property owned by OHI. We're finalizing that, but that was the biggest chunk back in 23. Since then, we've been waiting on design and USI, and we are also utilizing next level grant funding for that project. We've now secured that funding. It is ready to proceed forward, so we are ready to move into the construction phase. There is a small portion of that that does cross over county-owned property. In speaking with the county attorney, I don't feel that we need I believe he agrees with me, but I don't feel we need any sort of easement or anything because ultimately it's going to be your property. I just wanted to make sure that for purposes of the record and ensuring that all of the documentation has what it needs to have, that I have a set of minutes that show a favorable position from the commissioners to allow us to construct that portion of it that goes across commissioner property. And in terms of the next level grant, I would just need that motion to be, there is no intention of it not being a park.
What is the amount of area we're looking at for the record?
I don't have it off the top. It's really just the corner of the OHI property to the area that lines into Pirate Park.
And what is OHI?
I'm sorry, that's the nursing home that is there on the property. So I apologize. I don't have the plans right in front of me, but it is a relatively small considered the rest of the size of the project.
So back when the proposal first came to us, we agreed to 10,000, or was it just flat abated?
So it was a 15,000. So there's a total of 30,000 abatement to the nursing home that they normally pay rent on that portion.
Yes.
Of that 13,000, the city is paying to the county 15,000.
So there's a building out there that and so we had abated part of that as part of this next level grant to get this path completed through. So we were already going down this path. This is just, I think, formalizing what the intent was back
Yes.
in 23.
Yes.
What is the path constructed of?
I have no idea. It's multi-use, whatever that is.
The path is an extension of the connection trail
Yeah, it's
that
already,
is connecting it over, heading over toward the library.
Right.
That will finish off. The trail ends right now. The trailhead is right by the restrooms in Rebecca Park. It will take that trail on over toward the corner by the library, Pirate Park.
But as far as future maintenance, it's in the falls.
It'll be the same, the same type of product that Connection Trail is currently, I would say.
You're asking about maintenance in the future. I'm assuming we maintain that little section.
Yes, it'll be maintained the same as any part of the other part of the trail. So it'd be maintained through the normal funding of the Parks Department.
And that trail goes all the way out to the county school administration, goes across all the school property out by Carousel. It's that walk. that we're talking about.
I mean, it's already in the works. I think it's something we should, I'm for the motion to.
That would be my request, just a motion to approve and recognizing that it's intended to be maintained, intended to continue to be a park.
Make a motion to approve that, to allow that path to be on our property and continuation of being.
Have a motion?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
All right. I wish we could get that. I feel like I've already done my part.
Those opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. All right, we will move to our new area plan director, Doug Westerfeld, and just ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Doug for the first time to a Decatur County Commissioners meeting. Pleasure to have you
As the area plan director.
on board. Yes, good point. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Look forward to great things.
So as the director of area plan, the ADA coordinator responsibilities come out of the area plan office. The former area plan or ADA coordinator was the prior building inspector. So when I came on board 3 weeks ago, it was brought to my attention that this needed to be assigned. The prior building inspector reported directly to the commissioner. So I felt like since the new building inspector reports directly to me, that it's just be my responsibility to be the ADA coordinator. So I'm here to ask that those responsibilities be assigned to me. Still need to figure out what all those responsibilities are, but that's all.
I have no questions.
No question. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to make our director of area plan the ADA coordinator.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next one I'll keep short. I had the maintenance vehicle lights added there. So we're getting one of the vehicles, one of the trucks from the sheriff's department.
Right.
I had been contacted on if we want to have yellow and white lights installed in the vehicle. The wiring and the control box can be left in the vehicle from its prior use for the sheriff's department. We would have to purchase an additional 6 to 8 lights, those yellow and white lights for the vehicle, so that if it's parked somewhere, we do have some type of additional alert other than just the standard flashers.
I'm in favor of that.
I am too, especially with the responsibilities that are currently lined out in that job position.
All right, we can get that done. Yeah, so we can get that done while it's while they're going to decommission that vehicle.
Perfect.
All right, up next, we have the Chamber of Commerce membership.
I reached out to Dawn Lowe, Chamber of Commerce, about being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And had a nice visit with her at her office. We went over some thoughts, ideas on how we would do that, because we do currently have several of our county offices as members. Is that correct, Dawn?
That's
I think
correct.
we said 7 of them, I believe 6 or 7. And I forgot to bring it. But we do have 7. So I was kind of comparing it to the city as they are members of Chamber of Commerce, and I think it's good community partners. we should be members of the Chamber of Commerce. So Donna talked about sponsorships and membership. And so I'll kind of turn it over to you, Don, what we discussed with how we would do our membership as far as county commissioners go.
Sure. So a lot of the entities that fall under the umbrella of the county are nonprofit organizations. We actually have a line item on our membership that accommodates nonprofits. And then it also throws in home-based businesses, public officials, school, clergy, and individual people can also have a chamber membership as well, allowing them the benefits of any member on our membership list. So as Brian was saying, we looked at what the city currently does so that we can make sure that we are playing, working with apples to apples. We do have them under a nonprofit general membership, which is a rate of $130 annually. That starts at the time of sign up and runs for the next 12 months. So we don't prorate that membership. And then like Brian was saying, the city specifically has a sponsorship with us. So they have gone above and beyond that general membership to support the 374 other member businesses that we have a little bit further, as well as that pours into our 4 main events, the Ag Day Breakfast, the Women in Business Conference, the annual golf outing, and our annual dinner. And so there are obviously perks and benefits that come with that additional level sponsorship.
I did find the list of current county offices that are members of the Chamber of Commerce: Parks Department, Visit Greensburg, Soil and Water District, the Clerk's Office, the Health Department, the Purdue Extension, and the Decatur County Fair are all members of the county or Chamber of Commerce.
And I looked back, it is not the Decatur County Fair, it is Power of the Past.
Oh, okay.
So that was my mistake.
Okay.
And we would have access to post jobs as well.
So that is part of what we call a membership upgrade, a marketing enhanced upgrade for $25 additional. And that is for the entire year. You can post job openings. We're the only job board in Decatur County outside of your national ones like Indeed. And then you can also post upcoming events for the county as well. You also have a highlighted listing on our membership tab. So when people look up Decatur County government through our membership portal, you can add your logo, you can add a map to your location, you can add pictures, you can add a YouTube video, you can add your search engine icon being your logo. So it just makes you more visible. It gives you a better presence, a more professional look when people are using that membership directory to find what they need here in Decatur County.
Do you have a number on website traffic for your posting?
I don't with me, but I can get that for you, absolutely. Actually, if you look in the annual report that is on the left side of the square one, that will have the updated, if you look toward the back, there are different numbers, different analytics, and that will be January through October of 2024. I just don't have that number memorized. And Gabe, what you're looking at there is the, I think you're looking at the business referral guide. Every single member that we have is listed in that membership directory.
But it
And then
shows
it's got some,
100 plus jobs posted with 26,000.
and that was probably, we would have given them that number in probably June. So whatever's in that annual report should be elevated past that. And that would not include obviously the fourth quarter of the year. Yeah.
Patty, with a lot of our job postings, how's our candidate turnout? The way that we're doing it now with Indeed, other areas.
Most offices are just using our website. Maybe 2 that are using. We have a result there.
So with our job postings tab, again, I can get you better analytics and email those to you. You are able to post that job on our job postings tab we typically will allow 4 to 6 weeks for a first run. If for some reason that job is fulfilled prior to the term that you have set, then you can go into the back end and you can take that off of our website. If you would like to extend that, that can easily be extended and we can, change the verbiage or whatever, but that's a super easy fix, both ways. Both directions.
$25 cost. The annual, is that an annual? Yeah.
Annual. Mhm.
That's a number to get a job listings out there.
Yeah.
To me, that's a no-brainer.
Once you post a job on our website as well as an event, it will also duplicate to our Facebook page and it will give a notification to all of our followers on Facebook that a new job or a new event has been posted. So you're also garnering all of those views as well. So it, in the sense where you currently got it posted on your website, people have to go directly to that website or know that there's a posting, whereas we're kind of shouting it out with social media and saying, hey, a new job is out there, come and look. And then that drives them directly to our website. We can then link it to your website to get that traffic to you.
And can you, as you told me, can you explain who the membership covers? Because we talked about it would be the commissioners and.
Yeah, we can add anyone as a representative. So as Brian and I were talking, I thought it just made sense to add Patty as a representative of the county government. We need somebody from your end who can go in and do those job postings, upload that information. You can all 4 have access. We can give one access. We can do it however you want to. And then what's forward facing to the public is just the basic county government information. And like I said, if you do that enhanced marketing bundle, we can spruce that up a lot more and make that presence a lot more professional and outward. Yeah, but we don't have a limit on how many reps, so we could very easily put the 4 of you if you prefer that.
I believe, I think it's a great thing. I think we should definitely, at minimum, be members and use the enhanced marketing package of $25 a year as a tool for us as well, for Patty, with our job postings. I know that Don and I talked about sponsorships, and there's 3 different levels of sponsorships, and we don't have to get into that now. We have the package, we have something that we can look at and discuss later, but
yeah,
minimum.
Absolutely. Sponsorships can always be added on after the fact. That's not a decision that has to be made today. However, I am at the end of the agenda, and I feel like being at the end warrants a little bit more, maybe. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Are you quicker than Rob?
So far, yes. Yes.
I think if we do anything, we do basic membership, $25 enhanced to marketing job postings. I don't think that we do a sponsorship. I don't think that's a great use of funds for those benefits. Effectively, for what those benefits would be for us to go to a dinner,
Right.
for us to go play golf. I don't think that those things are appropriate or necessary. So I think that we limit it to the basic package, $25 with job marketing. I think that's the biggest benefit that we can have here, so that we can fill the jobs with local people.
Gabe, what do you
Also,
think?
Yeah, I want to review it all, if we don't mind, and we can add it to the agenda in 2 weeks. There's a lot of information.
there's a ton, and I'm happy to sit down and give a more
Yeah, I may reach out.
in-depth, yeah, absolutely. Also note that as you're discussing, there's a one-time new member fee of $15, and that's the first year. I know, steep.
$15.
Instead of nickel and dime, that's a nickel and a dime. So you want to wait till next meeting? Is
Yeah,
that
mine, I
what we're
just like to
thinking?
look through it more.
Yeah.
Get some information.
It's a lot of information in the package.
There's a lot in here.
Yeah, so this is, a general potential member packet that we go through with every potential business, or new or existing. We talk about the different roles that the chamber has in our community, working toward job fulfillment, like you stated, as well as being supportive of that entire business community. Some of that is through those events that we talked about, but ultimately being that cheerleader and being that backbone for those 374 plus members or whatever we're at today. We are super excited for the growth that we have seen over the last few years with the chamber, the support that we've been able to provide, and with the staffer too. I think that there's a lot going on. So for instance, all of our upcoming events in February, legislative updates coming up and all those types of things. So we're just excited that we get to be an integral piece of business here in Decatur County, and I look forward to supporting them for another 115 or 16 years as we've been here. So
Funding source we can use, plans and implementations. For that. Commissioners have a budget for as well, or a line item there. We can draw from that, or we can just use plans and implementations. I think that's probably
To pay for
the cleanest location for both the vehicle, the light update for the maintenance vehicle, and then also for this. Because right now, with plans and implementations, started with $75,000 that was originally appropriated for 2025. We've spent $90 so far. Now, they're depending on the what Chad help me out here.
Comprehensive plan update?
No, the 3 study. I'm spacing on the name of it.
Oh, the Highway 3 study.
Yeah.
Into.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name.
I can't remember the name. So there's a study between Henry County, Newcastle, Rushville, Rush County, Greensburg, Decatur County, that we've committed to paying $30,000 roughly for this study for improvements on 3. And the agreement was that it would be coming out of plans and implementations. I have not got money that at this point, I have not gotten information that at this point the money is anywhere near needing to be paid, but it would be coming out of plans and implementations. But $100 and some dollars on $30,000. All right, we'll get it on the agenda for February 17th.
Thank you, Don.
thank you.
Appreciate
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Any other update on your end while you're still there?
Sure. Legislative update, as I just mentioned, is Friday, February 14th. RSVPs are encouraged as we will be doing some light lunch options. That is 11:30 to 1 o'clock at City Hall's multipurpose room. On Tuesday, February the 11th, the city of Greensburg, along with Burke Engineering, is providing a lunch and learn. That one is also free, compliments of the city of Greensburg, and that will be talking about stormwater drainage, as well as MS4 contractors training. So again, signups on our website for that, free, but we do appreciate a head count for that. And we've already got really great numbers for both. The last big thing coming up is our Ag Day breakfast. We are already at a record number attendance, and we're still 2.5 weeks away. That is Saturday, February 22nd. It will be our largest event for the GDC Chamber to date, so we're pretty excited about that. That is 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. Super early, but we're going to give you breakfast. So
Where are you having that?
that will be at the Red Barn at Next Generation this year.
Very good.
Appreciate their collaboration.
Excellent.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the YMCA roof project. There's a pay app here. First pay app for this project. This was a partnership between the commissioners and the YMCA where they raised, I think it was roughly $500,000, and then they had applied for the Okra grant, and the commissioners are basically a pass-through. The application has to come in for the pay or for the reimbursement. Then the funds get drawn down, they come to Decatur County, and then they just flow on through. So that's what this payout is for. Just for your guys' information, the contract sum for the YMCA roof was $1,276. I'm sorry, $1,276,900. This pay application is for $135,258.71. So we just need to authorize priority project resources to order the grant funding to then be processed, paid, so that it can flow through us. If I have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the funds transfer.
I second that.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. That's that. Announcement, we will have the vehicle storage pickup on March 8th, 2025 out at the fairgrounds. I think that was
7 a.m.
Yeah.
to mid.
I received a text message, and then I made a phone call right after I'd gotten the text message. Let me see here. This was just earlier today from Jaden Lawrence. He is with the North Decatur FFA. They have their annual petting zoo coming up here on February 20th. They would like permission to use the pens, livestock pens that we have at the fairgrounds for the event. This is something that in my time as a commissioner, I've seen them do that as well. So I talked to Jaden. He told me that he and another FFA member will pick up gates and pens on February 19th, that they can be returned the same day on the 20th. They don't have an estimate on yet on how many animals will be brought in for the exhibition, but he can get that to me. So approval to go ahead and let them use the pens out at North Decatur. Any discussions? Any discussion? Any concerns?
No, just as long as there's proper transfer. I mean,
Yep.
assuming they've done it before, so they know.
Yep.
I mean, it's our property, so
It's
we want to make sure that if they fall out of the truck or get torn up or something, that they're,
Yeah.
fixed or repaired or
Yep.
replaced.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I don't know the answer to this, Chad, and I don't know if you do either off the top of your head. With Phil Dywert tendering his resignation, are we responsible for his replacement, or is that for a controlling?
I would not swear to this, but I thought they were a controlling board, so I
I think they're gonna be,
Being
I did
down.
talk to Phil.
Okay.
He's alluded to that,
Okay.
that they were
that would be my understanding, but I can double check.
And then it's my understanding that there's a Sherry, is it Purvis?
Yes.
Sherry, you're here to address some animal concerns. It's my understanding this evening.
Yes.
Okay, please.
Well, I would like to thank you for allowing me to speak to you. My name is Sherry Purvis. I live on South Broadway, and I'm here to discuss an aggressive pit bull that is terrorizing our neighborhood. On October 28th, late afternoon, I was taking my dog. He's part Maltese and Shih Tzu. He weighs 20 pounds. He was in a harness on a leash. I went about 15 feet out in my backyard, and I noticed this pit bull. He's toward the back of my neighbor's yard. And there was something about his stance and the way he was watching me that I found very unnerving. So I picked up my dog, turned, and was hurrying back to my house. I'm on my decking, and all of a sudden this dog's head comes up under my arm and rips my dog out of my arms. He ripped him right out of his harness, and he's got him in his mouth, and he's shaking him like a rag doll. I was screaming for help. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. This is a pit bull. I was afraid to kick it or do something, afraid it would turn on me. Then by some miracle, I can't explain how, my dog was free. And then it's kind of funny, my dog turned on the pit bull and chased him out of the yard. They call that, I think, small dog syndrome. But anyway, I called the police, and Chief McNeely had come to my house, and he went out my backyard, was looking things over, and he said that he was very sorry. He was very polite, said he was sorry this happened to me. And he said he was going to go talk to Mindy about getting this declared a dangerous animal. And then before he left, another neighbor came down, and it turns out this same pit bull had attacked her dog, which was a Chihuahua, 2 days prior to this. The police were notified on that. Now, I talked to Mindy twice after this incident, just wanting to see what was happening because the dog was still running through. I did send the owners of the dog a letter with a copy of my vet bill asking for compensation, which of course they ignored. So right before Thanksgiving, I went to small claims court and filed a claim against them. But then again, on December 19th, the pit bull attacked another dog in my neighborhood. This time he went after a lab. And the owner heard the commotion. He came out with a gun, shot and discharged it in the ground. It scared the pit bull away. His lab had a heavy collar, so it didn't suffer any injury. The police were called again on that. I went to court on January 14th. Of course, the owners of the dog never showed up. And Kenneth Bass was the magistrate. He had me explain what happened, and he gave me a judgment of $246, I think 48 cents for my damages for the vet bills from the dog. And then he also gone after our mailman, Jeremiah. I heard about this, and I called him today and was speaking to him. He said the dog was showing aggression coming toward him, and he kept backing up, and he had to get in his truck and had to stop delivering mail, and he called the police. And then he went on and came back later to finish that section. Now, I have studied your city ordinances, and according to ordinance number 2008-23, section 90.03 of the Greensburg Municipal Code, a dangerous dog is defined as any dog which without justification attacks a person or domestic animal causing physical injury or death, or behaves in a manner that a reasonable person would believe poses an unjustified imminent threat of serious injury or death to one or more persons or domestic animals. Now, I feel my attack fits that category because I have no doubt that dog came after us with the intent to kill my dog, because that's how pit bulls kill, by shaking them. They shake them till their neck breaks. And I had no idea this dog was coming behind me. I'm holding my dog like this. If I had moved any, that dog would have latched onto my arm. So that has been over 3 months. And I just don't understand why nothing's being done. The dog runs free all the time.
Unfortunately, Jerry, that's a city ordinance. And this is a county meeting. So I understand your frustration. Have you approached although we do have an animal control
That's a joint.
officer.
The animal control, and we'll have Mindy talk here. Because the city does help support the shelter as well.
Okay.
So they would have jurisdiction, and it might be beneficial that the city attorney is.
I'm happy to address the commissioner.
Well, and actually, I did call the mayor's office about this.
Good.
And I wanted to speak to him about a matter of public safety. And I just spoke to his office last Friday, and his secretary told me that the mayor couldn't do anything, that it was a matter for animal control, and she was the one who advised me to come up here and talk to you.
Well, great. Okay.
So this is my next step.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're here, and hopefully we can help you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This issue was brought to me as the city attorney. She is correct that it does meet definition probably under the ordinance of that However, the city is not, under ordinance, not permitted to take any action until there's been a favorable vote by the Animal Control Board, which is what I think is the next step. So I believe this is going in front of the Animal Control Board at their next scheduled meeting, which maybe can tell you what it is, but I believe it's
Second Tuesday.
I believe it's next Tuesday. And once that vote
Yeah.
has been approved, the city will be able to take whatever action necessary to address the situation. But I have spoken to the chief of police. It is on his radar. It is on his issue. We are just trying to make sure that we pursue it in an appropriate manner. Additionally, Mindy and I spoke last week about the possibility of looking back at our ordinances and making sure that we have them as streamlined and as effective as possible to address situations like this that were to happen. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
When were you first notified? Just out of curiosity about the.
So it first came to my attention, I want to say about a week ago. I believe there was material, maybe a week and a half. I did take that opportunity to speak with Chief McNeely and address the situation because of Franklin Street. And then I spoke to Mindy last Friday.
And the owner of the dog has refused to keep it tied up or?
As far as I can tell from the documentation that was been provided, the owner has failed to address any of the situation, has failed to respond to multiple violations that the animal control officer has presented, and did not appear to interact with the civil side of it, which is the civil judgment that was obtained. So there are multiple violations, and I believe that it's just needs to go in front of the animal control board, and then we can move forward. Any further questions?
Yes, ma'am.
We have 3 neighbors and we come from, there's a lot of dogs there. They go out in their yard when they take their dog out to do their business, they have guns.
We carry guns in our neighborhood to walk our dog.
Now that is ridiculous. I mean, to have your yard, you pay your taxes on your place. And you can't walk out to take your dog outside because you're afraid of a pit bull might come attack you or the dog, and nothing seems to want to be done about this. It's ridiculous.
So Mindy, if I may, when did you or someone at the shelter first get notice of the incident back in October?
In October, we get it through dispatch.
And did you receive notice in October?
Yes,
Okay.
multiple times. I've sent multiple tickets.
Okay.
And I talked to her, sent multiple letters. The lawyer had it all.
Okay. So
All right here.
tickets have been written.
Actually, we're getting ready to write another one because it was out over the weekend. So now it's going up to a $400 ticket. So she owes, so the last ticket that we fined her for was $350. And then now this one will go up to $400 because it increases by $50 for each infraction.
What infraction were each of the tickets written for?
Running a large.
So none of the tickets address the actual biting or the aggressive behavior.
No.
Is there a reason for that?
Worrying her. I mean, we've talked to her about it and, I begged her, I like, Kristen, you've got to fix your fence, you've got to fix, because it's been excuses of, you've got to fix the fence, you've got to fix the
Shell collar.
thing, yeah. Yeah, and it's just been ongoing. I've been dealing with her since I started.
I don't know where from a legal perspective, so I may ask, but I guess
Yeah.
We have a dog that's attacking other dogs, potentially attempting to attack other people or attack people. Do we not have any recourse to be able to take that dog into custody now? So
That's what we're learning.
if we catch the dog, I know there's been several other instances where people, I know there was a few in Westport, ACO had dealt with, where the dog is cornering people and they're carrying guns and, I guess, but if we see the dog running at large, aren't we able to capture it?
In the city's ordinance, we do not chase running at large animals. It's impossible. If you get called out, the dog could be gone, miles down the road. So, but, I've been working with dispatch and records and we pull it. And then as soon as I get her, we send a ticket. And like I said, and now I actually have I can get legal advice now through the county attorney and stuff. So now I'm learning what we can do legally to take care of it.
But I do feel your frustration. It's been
Well-
since October.
And I get
Yes.
it. I'm definitely with
A
her.
question I've had that no one can answer for me is, what does this dog have to do before something is done?
Somebody gets hurt.
Is it because my dog lived? Does one of our pets have to be killed? Or does this dog, it progressed from a chihuahua, it was, well, it's too, it's killed.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
They've had numerous complaints, but it went from a chihuahua to my dog's a 20-pound dog, then it went after a lab. Does this dog have to attack a child?
I think that's where I'm struggling and I don't,
Running at large tickets is not sufficient. for
No.
what we have here. I mean, that's.
And like I said, I'm learning now that, since I can go and get legal counsel and like I said, I've been working with Chief McNeely about this. And, we've been talking about, like maybe the habitual offender, but now that they're saying that we could deem this one a dangerous dog, as soon as we go before the board next week, it'll be on our agenda.
As I told Patty when I talked to her, I won't let my grandchildren go out in my yard
Yeah.
and play.
Yeah, and there's a
Would
whole,
you?
Yeah.
No,
there's another
I-
dynamic of people feeling threatened and carrying weapons. And
Yes.
running into something.
You have a dangerous dog, right? Find out, I don't know if they own the house or not. Somebody owns the house, right? So with the city attorney, there's a city ordinance being broken here. Obviously, you have a judgment already.
yes,
Okay, so this is where you're going with this. This dog's proven to be dangerous. That's that definition. The city attorney would send a letter to the property owner, the owner of the dog, or who owns the house, and report it to the insurance. Have you gotten paid?
oh,
You
no,
guys can file a claim. You
I
have
don't
to
expect,
file it with the insurance.
I-
The insurance. will-
they're not gonna pay.
That's your problem, so
Yeah, and as I told Ken
that's where
Bass,
pressure gets put on. You're
Yeah.
gonna lose your insurance.
I asked Ken Bass at court, I said, I'm allowed to ask questions. I said, I'm more concerned about having something done with the dog. And he told me to take that judgment out to Mindy to stay on her.
Well, the longer it goes on,
Yeah.
the chances are it will hurt.
Oh, there's no guarantee, it's guaranteed not a
It's
matter
not.
of if it's gonna attack, it's when.
It's
That's
proven to
what
be aggressive.
that's what-
It meets that definition.
I don't know how we speed the process to.
Well, like
take it.
Like Chris said, I have my board meeting next Tuesday, 5:00. It's going on the agenda and we'll vote on it.
What happens when they vote on it? They say yes, then what do? They say yes, it's an aggressive dog.
Then the dog is seized.
You go physically take it off.
I have one more thing. I noticed it's the city ordinance, but it says breed does not come into account on any of this stuff on dogs. But I disagree with that. I think that once the dog shows aggression, breed should be taken into account. Because my little dog, if it bites you, you could kick it and not get away. But a pit bull has the power to kill you if it wants to. And so I feel that once the dog starts showing aggression, breed should be taken into account.
Well, I think it's no matter the breed, right? So any dog, I mean, it could have potentially a mental issue that then causes it to show aggression, or whereas if it never had that problem, let's say for X number of years prior. So I think it's where it's not subject to the breed, right?
No.
Any dog is showing the aggression.
But once it starts showing aggression and then starts attacking other dogs, then I think you need to take that into, then that needs, because my dog isn't capable of killing you. It could bite your leg, yes. But you could give it one good kick and it's done.
Is
But
there,
that pit bull took that dog right out of her heart.
is there a legal, I know that they're obviously going down this process, but is there a way to expedite this? there's obviously the city, I'm talking about even in the county. Is there a way to expedite this
I
process?
have an emergency animal control board meeting is what I was thinking, as far as to expedite it and just get together and say, because if this happens tomorrow, the next day, a child or dog gets killed and we already know about it, it really puts egg on our face.
Okay, the thing is by state law, that would call it an executive and don't have, still have to put that out 3 days.
3 days, we're talking
So-
about 3 months. I mean, like, this problem's been going on, so even. if we-
Right, but I'm saying by Indiana state law, if you have to, we would go into like a special session or an executive session, go in and vote on this. You still have to give, by law, you have to post it and give 3 days notice before the meeting.
Well, today's Monday.
It's
So you got
48
time
it's
this week.
48
So
hours.
do you want us to do it?
I don't see why we would wait.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
fine.
see why we'd wait. It's my issue.
Right, and then,
You're trying to do due process. You're trying to go through all of it, right?
and I know it sounds like an excuse, but I'm actually just now getting backing and guidance.
Sure.
With everything that's happened, and I want to do it legally.
Yep.
And like I said, I have been pushed, this department has been pushed to the side. Nobody worries about it. And I love the fact that we have counsel now and I can get legal advice on how to do this.
Yep.
Because nobody seemed to know.
Yeah, I think if we could get this one expedited, this gives us a few,
Okay.
I mean, this gives us now a new
Yeah.
process to look at. So when this.
Yeah, because Ashley's off tomorrow. She's not off. She works from home, so I can get up with her and the rest of the board members.
I appreciate that.
Not a problem. I want to get this taken care of as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like not to have to live in fear every time I take my dog out of my dog.
Yeah,
I agree. It's not fair to you and your neighbors.
No.
All right. I trust no one else has anything else that they'd like to contribute this evening. Excellent. A motion to recess would be entertained.
So moved.
We are recessed.
Gave the opportunity.